Hi there, I'm your English coach, Roxana, from English Connection, the place where learning real English is fun, inspiring, and easy. Today I have something to share with you. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You want to improve or practice your English, and so you look around your town for an English school. You join an intermediate class that promises to focus on speaking English. You choose to go 1 or 2 days a week, every week, and you study every day. You learn a lot of new words and you practice your reading and writing skills. Also, you speak sometimes, but maybe not as much as you would have liked. After a few weeks, you finish your course and you get your fancy new certificate. A week later, you have the opportunity to meet a visitor from the US or England, and you are excited because you want to connect with them, but you still feel shy to reach out to a native English speaker. So the opportunity passes, and months later, you have barely spoken or used the English since that course. You still feel shy and frustrated when you need to speak English, and maybe you start to wonder whether that class was really worth the money. If that's how you feel, it's not just you. This is a common story I hear from the English Connection ambassadors, and all of them have said to me, I still feel uncomfortable speaking English. I feel like I have no confidence and no knowledge. I still find it hard to understand native speakers. I have no competence in my spoken English, and I don't have anyone to practice with. The thing is that English classes can be great if you are learning English, but in your case, you need to practice your English, which is a different thing. In a class, you can only move as fast as the students at the lowest level. In a class, you're struggling for the chance to speak with lots of other students. In a class, you often review the same grammar rules you've already studied at school. Everything feels unrealistic and theoretical. But you don't need a class to improve your speaking skills. What you actually need is an English conversation club, a language club. What is it? Well, an English conversation club is a place where people come together to practice speaking their non-native language. Sometimes you can also find native speakers from all over the world joining in, so you get to familiarize with different English accents from around the world. Language clubs are held in person or online, and they usually have a language coach who organizes the event and chooses the format. The format is usually very relaxed, and the participants are responsible for maintaining the conversation. All you need to do is just turn up and perhaps buy a drink. But for the rest of the time, you don't have to make notes, you don't have to take books or do homework. You just go in there to talk with people and to converse in English. That's probably the situation you dread speaking at right now. But it's also your goal, because there you learn how to let go of your shyness and all your fears of making mistakes. Now, a conversation club is very useful in that sense, because if you live in a non-English speaking country, what are the chances of practicing your English without one? There aren't many opportunities unless you know a community of native speakers living in your area. And even if you have moved to the UK or the US, for example, you're still new and you might not know many people yet. So a language club can be found in every city across the world, and now more and more online as well, especially nowadays with the lockdown and all the clubs are closed. And where do you go to practice? Well, as I said, there are also conversation clubs online, and this is one of them. the B-Fluent Conversation Club, where you have the opportunity to practice your English in a very safe environment. So let me tell you a little bit about how it works. In the B-Fluent Conversation Club, there is a topic every week, but that's it. The pre-session material is just there to suggest, as a suggestion for you. And once you join in the session, you are the ones who lead the conversation without the intervention of the coach. It's a way to practice your English independently, though the coach is there to listen and support if needed. In the B-Fluent Conversation Club, the coach will split you into smaller groups of 2 or 3 people in virtual rooms, and you really get a lot of speaking time that way. Then I just listen and make notes when I hear some common mistakes, and also when I catch some really good use of the language. And only at the end of the session, to wrap it up, I share my observations and leave some time to answer any questions that may come up from the group. That way, you all learn from each other and you can share your knowledge with the group. During these sessions, you realize that you don't need to speak perfect English in order to connect. Native speakers themselves don't speak perfect English in conversation. There is no grades in a conversation club. And you don't need to be shy or afraid to speak because there's no wrong answer. You may make some mistakes, but that doesn't matter as long as others understand you. And remember, your language doesn't have to be perfect in order to communicate. I cannot stress that enough. If you keep worrying about speaking perfectly, you will never be ready to start speaking in real situations. So, in a language club, you quickly stop being self-conscious because everyone has the same fears of not understanding someone, of not being understood by others, of not saying the correct sentence or missing the vocabulary in the middle of a conversation. All mental blockages that you can easily overcome and let go of. And you'll immediately realize that those fears are shared by everyone else. So everyone feels exactly like you, and that's the beauty of that. Because by the end of the first session, you will feel transformed, I promise you. And you will feel energized because suddenly you've dropped that weight from your mind and you're relaxed. You finally realize that the most important thing is the ability to get your point across and to connect with the others. The minimum level required to participate in the B-Fluent Conversation Club is pre-intermediate. Some people will be a little more fluent than others, some a little less. And that's how every one of you can help each other, because you know you're sharing the experience with people who have the same fears and the same worries. So you'll quickly start to relax and open up. That's why it's a safe environment to let go and experiment. And if you need some help, people will be kind and supportive. And so you can also share your humanity with one another. That is what I see every time someone new joins the B-Fluent Conversation Club. It's truly fun and it's a joy to watch. So why don't you give it a try? For the lockdown, English Connection is launching the B-Fluent Conversation Club, and it's completely free. All you have to do is click on the link below somewhere and request to join and an email address so that I can send you all the info, pre-session and access to the call. This week you can join on Thursday at 12 noon UK time. I'm Roxana. Thanks for learning English with me. I'll talk to you soon.